and welcome to the 100th episode of Therapuss. It's actually so crazy that we are at 100 sessions. You know, when I started this podcast, I felt like it was going to be so difficult to make my own name in this industry that has been so crowded over these past few years, but I feel so like grateful and lucky that because of literally you guys, it's all you guys, that I've been able to make Therapuss, or we have been able to make Therapuss into what it is. And I can sit here in this room and interview people I've looked up to since I was a kid and talk to my best friends and read questions from you guys and call you guys, and just it's become this thing that I never ever thought it would be. With this 100th episode, I'm just like feeling very grateful, especially for you guys for watching every week and giving me feedback and helping me be better at this, really, is what I'm feeling grateful for. For the 100th episode, we have the one and only Kerry Washington, aka Miss Olivia Pope. If you know me, you know Scandal is literally one of my favorite shows of all time. And it was kind of a no-brainer when we were talking with Kerry Washington about doing Therapuss that the 100th episode felt so right for her, because Scandal has been such a huge part of my life. It has like joined me on so many different eras of my life, from when I was in 8th grade to when I rewatched it during COVID to when I'm rewatching it now. Like, it's just been with me throughout my life. So to have her be here for the 100th episode just felt very full circle for me. She is here to not only talk about Scandal, which we do, but also talk about her new movie, Wake Up Dead Man, which is out December 12th on Netflix. I'm very excited to see it. I love the Knives Out series. I cannot believe we're at 100 episodes. I've been able to do so many things I never thought possible because of this show. I was able to tour and meet you guys. I never thought I'd be comfortable enough to get on a stage for an hour or 2 hours and just talk. And this show, like talking to you guys through this show every single week, has made me comfortable. And the community that you guys really helped create was so like welcoming of like all of like my accomplishments, and even flounders and like flounders.
The second it came out of your mouth, I was like, no way, he keeps going.
But yeah, like really and truly, I am so grateful for the show. But more importantly, I am so grateful for you guys. I cannot wait to see what the rest of this season brings us and the next season. And I love you guys. If there is anything you guys want to see going forward, the show is what it is because you guys have a voice, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. And in honor of the 100th episode, I'd like to ask everybody who's in the room with me right now their favorite moment of Therapuss so far. And that is Louise, Nolan, Manny, and Will.
My favorite moment from all of Therapuss so far is when we talked to Leah Michelle, but specifically when she snatched the cards out of your hand and said, "Let me read these."
Yes, that moment, I was like, I'm not going to ask her about the reading, but I hope that she like does some of the tell me what's wrongs. And she did. Leah Michelle, I love you. Okay, Nolan, what was your favorite moment?
I have two things.
Okay.
I have a favorite moment, but then I have a favorite thing about doing this show.
Aww.
Is how much I've been... It's just like how much I've been able to travel over the past 2 years. And like me being in my early 20s and everything, just being able to bounce around and do a show that people in my generation and age group connect with so much has just been so cool. And it's just been such a wild ride.
Oh, Nolan.
And then you role model and you switching places.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Louise?
Wallows when he said yogurt. That was sick. Yeah.
He was dead serious too. Oh
my
God, happy belated Cole. It was just his birthday.
Oh, cute. I also really loved having Audrey Hobart on.
Yes, that was a great episode.
It was. I love how I keep just trying to say my favorite thing.
Sorry.
It was such a great episode. I feel like you really got to learn more about her right when her album was coming out, and it just made you connect so much with the music and the lyrics, and she's just such a star, and I loved it, and I feel really honored that we got to have her here. And that was a really great episode. I also love Matt Rogers.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
My soulmate.
I love him.
Yeah.
Will,
what happened?
What was your favorite moment? What was your favorite moment of Therapuss?
My favorite.
Do you watch the
moment-
show?
I have not. I haven't. Noah Beck was my favorite.
You were there for that.
Yes.
So what was your favorite moment that you weren't there for?
No, I haven't listened to any of them yet. But like that, I watched the clips.
So what's your favorite Therapuss moment?
Anything Cassidy Brown said. That was my
Okay.
favorite Therapuss moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I say one more?
Yeah.
The Kerry Washington promo has been so fun today to see
Yes.
the audience reaction to it, because it's been such a tentpole of Jake period this year that like seeing all of that come to life
Right,
was really
yes.
cool.
It's like people know how much that show means to me and
Yeah.
how much it means to everybody.
Yeah.
And I love when like a video that we work hard on, like as all of us, like hits.
Yeah.
I think we should call Tucker and ask him his favorite moment of my show.
Good idea.
Hey.
So it's my 100th episode of Therapuss, and I'm just calling. You're on camera if that's okay with you. And I'm just calling to ask what your favorite moment of my show has been.
What show?
Therapuss, my show.
Therapist?
What? Yes. So
What is the show called?
it's called Therapuss. You were on it twice.
Is it on Hulu or something? What is it, like a sitcom?
It's a podcast. Yeah. You don't remember that you don't remember?
No, I do so many I can't even remember.
Oh, okay.
Favorite moment is just I love because you always get into mischief on there, and so I always like that kind of those moments.
Okay.
And you're like, I wonder why this thing happened, and I wonder if it's because of this or something. Yeah, I like it when you problem solve on there.
Okay. Thank you, Tucker.
All right, brother.
Brother.
He hung up.
Well, with that being said, happy 100th episode of Therapuss. I love you pussies more than anything in the entire world. The show would not be what it is without any of the wonderful guests that have been on, including my best friends, Brett, Julia, Peyton, Alice. It wouldn't be what it is without Nolan, our incredible producer, Louise, Manny, our incredible booking team, Jen and Alex, Zach, Matt, Harley, who does all of our creative and helps design the set, along with Interwoven, who brings the vision to life, Will, Cassidy. Sorry. Everybody that is a part of my life is a part of this show, and that includes you guys. Thank you guys for writing in every week. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for just everything, for supporting me and letting me figure this show out as I go. I feel very, very lucky, and I love making you guys laugh more than anything. So I hope I can continue to do that. So thank you guys. I love you. Tense up forever. As always, to submit a Tell Me What's Wrong, go to passthatpuss.com and click Tell Me What's Wrong. Leave a name and number if you're feeling fancy. And enjoy the 100th episode. I love you, pussies. Are you ready?
Yes, I want a degree from Puss University.
You're a
Can I have
professor.
an honorary degree?
You're a professor. You are a professor. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
No. Quite frankly, no. And I think it is time I tell you that this is actually the 100th episode.
God, what an honor. That's
No.
a big deal.
The honor
also,
is all mine.
congratulations.
Well, thank you, but the honor is all mine. And before we begin,
Yes?
I got you
No.
a bottle of Dubélé.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I got you a bottle of Dubélé. You do not have to drink it, but it's just for visual effects.
I can't believe you did that.
Yes,
I don't
mean-
know if I even knew that was a real
So
wine.
the Dubélé, the 94 Dubélé is not a real wine, which is the wine you and Jake drink on the island while
Yes,
you're
of
standing in the
course.
sun.
Of course.
But
My God.
The-
Should I pour some?
Oh
Will you drink
my
some?
God.
I'm not gonna drink any, but will
I mean,
you?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Wait, I'm like gonna twitch out.
And we'll just stand in these lights instead of in the sun. So I was just talking to my daughter last night because she's doing this project for school. where she had to talk about the first time she was ever on a plane. And I told her it was when she was 3 months old and I was just coming back from maternity leave, and we flew to the Bahamas to film that episode of Scandal. And she was so tiny and I had to bring her with me. I was freaking out because Shonda called me while I was on maternity leave and was like, "You're going to start the season in a bathing suit." And I was like, "What?" and that was it. That was my daughter's first time on a plane. Was we secretly flew to the Bahamas so that nobody would know where in the world Olivia Pope was. And we shot this episode in a day on this little tiny private island, and she was so itty bitty, and then we flew home.
Wait, so that was actually shot in the Bahamas?
Yeah, we shot that on a secret little island in the Bahamas. We flew on a private jet so that the fans wouldn't know where Olivia Pope was, and we shot that episode with a skeleton crew. Like our line producer, who's usually like the big head honcho in charge, she was like steaming the clothes and holding the props, and because we didn't bring a lot of people with us, it was like our DP, the actors, our director.
So a skeleton crew was like a way
tiny
smaller.
version of a crew. Yeah.
Right, because that was season 3, right?
I guess so. You would know better than me.
Well, like, you know.
Yes, if I had my
No,
daughter,
it
it
was season 4.
It was, yes, that's right, because
Because season 3, you don't get on the plane.
Oh,
At the
end
of season 3, you're like, put me on the plane.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ooh, okay, so let me just collect myself.
So exciting.
So that was like the height of Scandal, though.
Yeah,
Because
it
I
was.
remember buying season 1, episode 1 it was the free iTunes episode of the week, the pilot.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
And then the end of the season 1 was only 7 episodes.
That's right.
And then you guys, is it true you guys didn't know you were going to get renewed or not?
We had no idea. I was in New Orleans shooting Django, and my producer on the film, Pilar Savone, who's now my producing partner in Simpson Street, she was watching the show, and they were like voraciously, the cast, the producers watching the show, and I was like, I don't know if we're going to get another season. And then we aired, so we aired while we were filming Django, and by the end of Django, I knew that I was coming back, because that was the movie that never ended filming. By the end of filming Django, I knew we were coming back for another season. And there was this one weekend where I had to do reshoots for Django in between shooting the second season of Scandal.
And did you know? Because I remember all of a sudden, everybody, because I went to school in New York City. Everybody in New York was watching Scandal.
So
and
crazy.
like
Where did you go to school?
Calhoun, you went to Spence,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yes.
right across the park.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
amazing, great school.
Where in New York did you grow up?
I grew up in the Bronx. I went to Spence, and I really, that's so funny. You know, I was already living out here at the time. Actually, I think season 3 of Scandal is when I was like, oh my God, I live in LA now. Because I had moved back to New York before getting Scandal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had moved back to New York to do a play on Broadway and was living on the East Coast and really loving being back in New York. And then I read this script and was like, oh my God, I love this so much. And I went back and did the pilot, and then we did those, 7 episodes. So you're like, I don't live here. But once we were in season 3, I was like, oh no, I live in LA now.
Right, because those initial seasons were long.
Yeah.
Long.
Yeah, 22, I think. 18,
And you guys churned them out, too.
Yeah.
Like, it was like one after another. Do you remember, though? Because I remember Scandal being one of the first shows, TGIT. Thank God it's Thursday.
For those of you who didn't know what that was.
It was Shonda Night on
It was
ABC.
Shonda Night. We went Grey's, Scandal, How to Get Away.
with Murder.
Yeah.
It was my night. But I remember Scandal being like the first show that took off on Twitter.
Yeah.
I remember like that was like the Twitter show.
Yes.
So do you remember a time in season 2 where you were like, not only are we getting to season 3, but everybody is watching this?
I feel like the moment that became clear for me was I was sitting in OPA and and I was doing an interview with Oprah Winfrey for a show she had that time on her network. I think it was called like Life Class or something like that. And she wanted to come to set for the interview, and she wanted to like be on the elevator and walk down the hallway. And then we sat at the conference room table together. And she said to me that the reason she started watching Scandal was because it's the only thing anybody was talking about on Thursday on Twitter. And I was like, oh, like that was a turning point for me, where I was like, oh, this is a moment. We're in like a zeitgeisty cultural moment.
Right.
Yeah. And it's interesting because appointment television was just disappearing because of DVR and Hulu. So people were starting to not watch shows when they first came on. So Twitter was actually how we remained appointment television, because you could watch the show whenever you wanted, but you couldn't be in the conversation any other time but that time on Thursday. And you might get spoilers if you waited.
Well, you would. I remember I would like not go on the internet when Scandal would air.
We would have to warn our directors because we would shoot all week, but on Thursdays, first we were on at 9 and then at 10. On Thursdays, if you were directing us at that time, it was impossible because we'd be doing a scene, but anytime the director would say cut, we'd all be tweeting and like barely paying attention to the scene because we were so committed to our audience and so committed to the gladiators that we could not be present for TG. So we used to say like, can we just take an hour break? Like, can we move lunch to when the show is on? And they were like, no, we have to like follow the union rules about when to shoot. But we were always tweeting in between every take. I remember actually like praying, saying to my husband, like, I cannot go into labor on a Thursday. Like I can't do it. Like I can't do it to the show. I can't do it to myself. Like I will be tweeting all through labor. And he was like, oh my God.
No, like, because you're a gladiator.
Yeah.
Wait, so do you remember what was the most hectic episode on Twitter where you were like, holy shit, like it was just like the discourse was crazy and like people were shook?
It was really fun to try to predict that. And now, we have a show on Hulu called Reasonable Doubt that is show run by Ramla Muhammad, who I love Ramla so much. Ramla was a writer's assistant on the first season of Scandal. And then she rose up through the ranks. And then when I went to go do Little Fires Everywhere, I brought her with me. And now Reasonable Doubt is her own show.
Oh, wow.
But she carries that Scandal culture with her in her head. And when she's writing episodes, she thinks about like, what are the moments that people will tweet about or will post about, like what are the memes, what are the gifs, like what are the shockable moments that will make people talk on social media. And she has that just so ingrained in her from the Scandal years, and it's brilliant because we used to sit around and guess when people would go crazy. I remember getting like when Fitz was shot,
words out of my mouth, first of all.
That was insane. We all knew that was gonna be crazy.
Because it was just, first of all, the episode's called Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
It
if you're
is.
unfamiliar.
It is.
No, like, I'm a gladiator. Like, I can't. I remember watching that in real time and, like, holding onto my couch and being like, what the fuck just happened?
So crazy.
Anything can happen in Shondaland.
Yes.
So, like, we didn't know if he was going to die or not.
It's so true. And also, that's what was going on in television in general at that time. Like, I remember right before or right around when we did our pilot, the first episode of Game of Thrones aired. And I remember when Sean Bean's character died on Game of Thrones, all television actors were like, oh shit.
Right.
Like anything's possible. You are never safe. Josh Molina in our cast, who played our attorney general, he would always flip to the back of a script to see if he died at the end at every table read, because he was like, I just need to know. But it was really exciting to see, it's that thing about sometimes you don't know how much something means to you until you're going to lose it. And so I think to see people's fear about Fitz being on the edge of his own mortality was really, really, I felt bad, but also like really, it was so juicy and good.
It was so
to watch
juicy.
the panic.
Also, just like Shonda knows how to like take something crazy and then make it even crazier.
Yes.
Like when you got up on the press podium and told everyone that Fitz was fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, but he's in the hospital.
Wait, she's lying.
I was like, wait, he's literally in the hospital. And was Sally the vice president at the time?
You would know better than me,
Yeah.
but I think so.
I think it was
so.
Sally.
Yeah.
And are you guys, you're all still close, this
We
cast.
are. It's pretty insane. I mean, I was just texting with Bellamy this morning. I know that like what Katie and I are doing double dates with our husband in a week or two. Like we are all very close and very supportive of each other. And really, I think when you go through a rocket ship like that with someone, you just really, you have a different kind of trust.
Right.
Because you've really survived something and you've committed to each other through a difficult time. And so on the other, I know it may sound weird to call it a difficult time because it was such a blessing, that show, but it just turned our lives upside down, and it was unknown. Maybe it was unknown, uncomfortable more than it was difficult, because it was also amazing. But having lived through that change, it just made us all so much closer.
Right. What was the last day of set like?
The last day of set was surreal. I remember my parents came to town because they wanted to be there. My parents are and were and are very close to the cast and crew. And all of us, we never made this decision, like we didn't articulate this decision, but no one took their costume off that day. You know, at the end of the day when you're acting, you like take your costume off and you hang it up in your trailer and then you go home. But it was almost like, if I don't take my costume off, maybe it won't end.
Right.
And so we all stayed in our costume that day, and nobody went home. We just kept like collecting by the monitors until the very last shot of the night. And so I have video of like all of us, like 40 people standing around the monitors watching the very last shot of the show. And just, I think being so filled with gratitude and awe for what we were given the opportunity to create together. It was really, really special. And we all went home in those clothes and kept them and and kept each other in our hearts.
Do you remember what the last shot was?
No, I knew you were going to ask me that. I know I was in it, and we were in OPA because we were gathered around. So there was that office. You know, in OPA, there was the office that was like not Huck's office, but after Huck's office, but before the conference room over there.
Steven's old office.
Yes, well done.
That Harrison and Abby fought over.
Yes, exactly.
And they said that's big office behavior.
That's, oh my good Lord.
No, like.
Yeah, so that's it.
I could teach a crash course.
Whenever we were shooting in OPA, if we weren't shooting in that office, that's where Video Village was. And Video Village is where you gather and watch the monitors so you know what's happening. And usually my dog at the time, Josie, was on a couch in that office and somebody was holding her and we were watching the monitors. So that's where we gathered for the last shot. Oh, it was so, so special. And Shonda was there, of course. Spouses, parents, kids, dogs, everybody was there. It was really, really magical.
I am just in awe. I've been dying to know, how did you guys memorize? I know it sounds like a silly question. You all had so many monologues each episode.
So true.
Like,
Joe Morton especially. Morton.
Yes.
And
like
Bellamy had some beast
Bellamy,
monologues.
I was like, how are you?
Yes.
What's going on?
I know.
Like,
she's incredible. She's a phenom.
But I was like, I know it sounds silly. I feel like it's asking a dancer, how do you memorize a dance every day? But like,
which is also a good question.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, how did would you go line by line? Like, how did you memorize? Would it be a little bit of improv? How did you do that?
So no improv allowed.
What?
No improv allowed at all. So Shonda has a few rules. She's an incredible collaborator. She's a wonderful leader. But one of the things she says is, I don't care how you say it, but you have to say what is written. So that is sometimes means there's something in a crew called a script supervisor, and they have a lot of jobs. But one of the jobs is to watch the words and to make sure that the actors are saying them. And sometimes our script supervisors would come in and say, you said but, and it's supposed to be end. Like, it was real specific, very specific. And I was really lucky because I had done so much theater. And when you're doing something like Shakespeare, like if you don't get that right, like the iambic pentameter is off. So you have to get that stuff word perfect. And I had done a play on Broadway with David Mamet, who's very similar. Like, every word has to be word perfect. And I really feel like working with Mamet, because he directed the play that I did. It was called Race. It's where I met my husband backstage on Broadway. And that experience of working with Mamet and having to be so word specific night after night, I think really prepared me for Shondaland in a way. But everybody has their own tricks. Somebody like Josh Molina, God bless him, I hate him for this, but he just has a photographic memory.
No way.
Yeah, when he can look at it once or twice and know it word perfect, it's disgusting. But it's also been really helpful for him because he's come up through like the West Wing world and Sports Night and other shows with other show writers where people are really, really specific. For me, I had this system where I would do two things that helped me the most. One is I recorded all my lines. So I would read through every scene between 3 and 5 times with my assistant and record them. And then I would listen to it. Like, I would listen to it while I did the dishes, while I was walking the dog, while I was driving to work, while I was in the shower. Like, I would just be listening to my lines all the time. And the other thing I would do is write them out, because writing them out helped me be super conscious and aware of every word. I've heard another trick after the Scandal years that I've used, which I really, really love, which is to actually memorize the verbs.
Oh,
It's so interesting because the verbs actually tell you what's happening, right? Like you're going to remember the names of people, you're going to remember the places, but it's like, did they go or did they come? Did they cry or did they laugh? Did they like the verbs is the verb is what people are actually doing. So that is a great through line to help you. So I've done that since then. But you know who taught me the listening to your lines? This is so funny. I was at a dinner in New York after I got the role, but hadn't started shooting the pilot, and I was with Rosie Perez, who had done a lot of Broadway. And this was before Scandal. This was when I was about to do my first Broadway play, and I was trying to memorize Mamet. And Rosie Perez had done a play that I love called Frankie and Johnny at the Claire de Lune on Broadway, and she taught me that trick of listening to the lines.
And that was very helpful.
That really worked more than anything. But I would always look like I was crazy because I'd be walking my dog in the morning, talking to myself.
Right.
Like, yeah, that was how I did it.
And you guys shot in LA.
We did.
And
We didn't go to DC until the finale of the show.
What?
All of the DC that you see is green screen, CGI, until the very final episode of our show. Shonda flew the whole cast to DC, and we actually went like after hours to the African American Museum of History and Culture, and we had an incredible time. I went to college in DC, so I got everybody drunk, and we drove around in chauffeured cars to all the monuments at night, because the monuments at night are phenomenal. And we shot those scenes in the finale of the show, the last 2 episodes of the show in DC.
Wow. When you and Cyrus like sit on that, what is that monument that you and Cyrus sit on in your final conversation?
It's the Lincoln, I think.
Yeah. And that was green screen?
That was green screen. We were actually on a stage for that one with steps and a green screen behind us. But for a lot of like the Rose Garden stuff, we were in Pasadena at the, what is those gardens in Pasadena called?
The Huntington Library?
Yeah, so we were at Huntington Library for a lot of that. We shot downtown LA, like outside the Museum of Natural History downtown USC area for some of the Rose Garden stuff. Yeah, downtown LA was DC. Like when I'm coming out of my apartment building and all the reporters are there, that's the end of what season?
2.
Thank you. That's in Koreatown.
What?
Yeah, an apartment building in Koreatown.
What do you think like the most iconic scene is? Besides like If You Want Me, Earn Me.
If You Want Me, Earn Me is good.
Of course.
I mean, I think the very first time in the pilot when she hears Sweet Baby is extraordinary. That was such good writing. Because for me, when I was reading this pilot, I was like, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good. And then I got to the Sweet Baby moment and literally threw my script across the room, was like, oh my God! Like, was so like, I'm in. Like, I have to do the show. What do I have to do to be in the show? I want to be this woman. This was written for me. I have to do this.
It is the greatest moment. I'm pretty sure you're in the hospital with Quinn, and she keeps going on and on about how he called her Sweet Baby.
And then it goes into slow motion.
You said, what'd you say? She said, she called her a dog. You said, no. What did you say? And she said, Sweet Baby. And you don't even say anything to Quinn. You just turn around and walk out.
Do you want to hear something fun?
Please.
So because that was our pilot, we didn't have sets of our own yet. And, we weren't going to pay for sets of our own. So the Oval Office we got from some movie. I'm trying to remember. There was a movie that had just had a White House scene, and we just borrowed their sets. All of the hospital scenes in the pilot of Scandal were shot on Grey's Anatomy sets.
No way.
Yeah. So that scene was on a Grey's Anatomy set.
What a good omen.
Yeah.
What a good omen.
Yeah. It's true.
What was it like when you guys did the crossover with How to Get Away?
Oh my God. That was so cool. So that episode was also the Scandal one, not the How to Get Away one. The Scandal crossover was written by Ramla Muhammad, that writer I was talking about from Reasonable Doubt. So she's the responsible for that whole scene in the beauty salon where I'm like, let me reintroduce myself. That whole Jay-Z moment, which also is that's why we have a show called Reasonable Doubt, because she's a small Jay-Z fan. So I loved every moment of the crossover because, in this business, we talk a lot about kind of how women are often put in silos or pitted against each other or made to feel like competition. And we graciously shared TGITs. We celebrated it together. We did promos together, all 3 of us. But that moment to really be like sisters and create those episodes together was so, so special. And to get to do it with Miss Cicely Tyson, who neither Viola or I would have the careers we have today if it wasn't for Cicely Tyson and her walking that path ahead of us and really leading the way. So it was really special to be able to work together and to kind of help each other shine.
Right.
You know?
Did you take any like lessons from the show? Like, would you ever think in your real life, okay, what would Olivia Pope do?
Yes, I still think at times, what would Olivia Pope do? And so Olivia Pope was inspired by a real woman, Judy Smith.
Yeah.
And I do still have a relationship with Judy Smith, and I call Judy at times, and I'm often asked to refer people to Judy.
Judy's still working?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I was about to have a lot of questions about Judy.
So Judy's amazing. And so ask me your question about Judy, and then I'll ask
No, please, you first. Please, you first.
Because I'll forget. What are your questions about Judy? She's amazing.
Like, is her life, is she like, yeah, like it's pretty crazy like this?
So she's always quick to tell people that the character is inspired by her, but not based on her, because she's like, I never slept with the president.
Right. Yeah.
So Judy has a very, like, her personal life is not messy.
Uh-huh.
That's the biggest difference between Judy and Olivia, is that her personal life is lovely and sane. And, you know, Olivia Pope is a little bit of a mess, which is one of the things we love about her. But Judy is, I mean, she has told me such insane stories about situations that she's been in with CEOs, with politicians, with people in the fashion business and the music business. Yeah.
And is it like, is it ever hard? Because often we see, like, you know, Olivia toe the line, like, with her morals. And, like, I feel like that's, like, a common motif in Scandal is, like, she's going to be able to fix it, but at, like, what cost?
Yes.
Does Judy ever feel that way as well?
I will say she taught me a lot about learning to be open-minded about perspective and to really challenge myself to come from a place of less judgment and more curiosity, which is something I'm still always trying to do in my life and at work, but to really, like, not assume that you know what's best and who's best, but to be open to each person's humanity, and that a person is not defined by their worst choice on their worst day. Right. And I think that's also a big lesson that we're trying to learn when we talk about criminal justice reform, is that, like, people make mistakes and people should be allowed second chances to the extent that we feel like they can rehabilitate and grow. And so Judy really taught me a lot about that, about, like, having the courage to lean into gray areas and not feel like you have to sit from your safe perch of, like, I know what's good and I know what's right. That life is often more complicated than we give it permission to be.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
It can be. I think also sometimes, like, shit is just fucked up and you need to call it, right?
Right,
like,
yeah.
Sometimes, like, you just need to be like, no, that's wrong. Like, certain things are wrong and bad. And I think for me, it was hard when I felt like I didn't agree at times with Olivia. But I feel like for the most part, she really did always try to make choices, even though they were complicated ones, that were for the betterment of humanity and for democracy.
You know what I've been thinking about that is so, well, it's not funny, but it's crazy. I'm like, I would rather have the Fitzgerald Grant government
Oh my God.
than the one we have now.
Without question.
And there was B613. There was like, it was like a dynasty. Somehow Melly was president. I'm like, it was like incredibly corrupt, but I would literally like choose it any day over today. And what was that like when, because Scandal was still airing when Trump became elected. How did you guys deal with that in your story of Scandal?
I mean, I feel like that's more of a question for the writer's room, but as I was listening to you, I was thinking there's a little part of me that just hopes that, I mean, first of all, thank you, because I feel like you have single-handedly brought Scandal back into the zeitgeist. Like, you have been our biggest champion, our biggest gladiator, and I'm so grateful that so many people are enjoying the show because of your encouragement and your enthusiasm and your devotion and your love, and I'm so, so grateful. And I feel like one of my dreams, one of my wishes is that people who are watching the show fall in love, not just with Olivia Pope and with Olitz or Olake, whichever way you go, but that they become a little bit seduced with the idea that we could have a government where your voice matters, that they become a little bit interested in the idea that these people make decisions that really do impact your life, that the people that we put in office matter because they do have an extraordinary amount of power and say. And I guess, for me, I feel like I tell this story a lot, but after the election in 2016, Olivia Pope was trending because people that next morning were like, Olivia Pope has to fix this. Like, oh no, Olivia, save us, right?
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's so funny. And then I was like, I don't know that this is okay because she's an imaginary character on television. And the reality is every single one of those people who was tweeting that, they have so much more power than Olivia Pope because they're real, right? Like, you're real. You can vote. You can register to vote. You can volunteer for a politician that you believe in. You can donate to a cause that matters to you. You can encourage your cousin or your sister or your mother or your father to vote or to understand an issue more deeply, to be more open-minded and more inclusive. You have more power than these imaginary characters on television. And I want people to not just fall in love with Olivia Pope, but in the way you have, like, I want people to embrace their inner Olivia Pope. Like, I want people to understand that you, each of us has the power to be the Olivia Pope in the story of our lives, in our communities, in our families. And to answer your question before, like, if anything, I do sometimes ask what would Olivia Pope do, but more often I'm grateful because she taught me that. Like, playing Olivia Pope taught me that I could have more agency and more voice in my own life, that I could not be afraid to step into power and to understand the places and the spaces where I had influence and to not be afraid to use it and to be that, to wear the white hat in my own life,
Wearing a white hat. Well, you are so active in getting people out to vote. When did you get involved with that? Like, was it during Scandal? Was it after?
So I'll tell you a really funny story. There's this great organization called the Creative Coalition that has, for many, many years, fought for increased funding for the arts and humanities, or just protecting funding for the arts and humanities. And way before Scandal, Tony Goldwyn was a co-president of that organization. And I met Tony doing that work. We used to walk up and down the halls of Congress talking to representatives and senators about the importance of museums and the importance of after-school programs for the arts and the importance of literature and really like arts and humanities. So we would be like in these meetings with politicians years before Scandal, walking around DC together. So Shonda thought of Tony for the role of the president on the show because Tony Goldwyn actually directed one of the very early episodes of Grey's Anatomy.
He directs?
Yeah. He directed at Scandal, several episodes.
What?
Yes. Now you'll have to go back and see that. So
I feel also, like a bad gladiator.
So no, I'm so happy I can actually tell you something. I feel like you've just been teaching me about my show.
I know.
So I'll tell you something else about that. But so when Shonda was thinking like what actors have like a level of gravitas, a level of like executive power, like who do you believe could be in charge? She thought of Tony because she mostly knew Tony as a director and running those spaces. And so she knew he was a great actor, but she thinks of him as somebody who's in charge. So she offered the role to him based on their relationship from him directing at Grey's, which is amazing. And I knew him from our DC advocacy days. So kind of getting in a room and doing all this political talk together was not new for us.
So you guys have been friends forever?
For a really long time.
And did you know like Shonda before as well? Or?
I did. I had not met Shonda. I was a huge fan of Shonda's. And when I read the script, I told you I read it and I was like, oh my God, I feel like this was written for me. The tricky thing was that there were like 40 other actresses who felt the same way. Who were like, I need this role. It was written for me. And so it was a highly coveted role in Hollywood. Everybody I knew was reading for it. I mean, from like age 16 to 60. There were so many people who wanted this role, who were fighting for this role. And of course I was going to audition. But in Hollywood, there's this whole thing about like, if you audition, it means you have less power. So a meeting is fancier than an audition. So how it was set up was I was going to meet her first. And then if the meeting went well, I agreed I would read. I mean, I didn't care about any of this. I was like, I'll run craft service. This is the most amazing show ever. But I was like, I'll do what my team says to do. So I went and met with her. And I remember getting off the elevator and the wall said, Shondaland. And I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to go well. Like this, I don't know if I want to like move into somebody's land. Like it just felt so extra to me. And then I walked in and I met her, and I think within 2 minutes I was like, I'm obsessed with this woman. Her brain, her charm, she was so intense, but so, I felt like I like this person, and I had so much immediate respect for her. And then I was in trouble because I was like, no, I really want this role. And then I read for it, and it came down to like 4 of us tested for the network, which is like you make your deal and you go in and you read for the network, and the casting director, Linda Lowy, who is Jeff Perry's wife. That was our casting director.
No way.
Yes. And then, I remember I was sitting at a restaurant in Manhattan Beach with my then boyfriend, now husband, and I got the call. That restaurant no longer exists, but it was a Mexican restaurant called Mucho. And I got the call that it was mine, and I couldn't believe it. I was beyond myself.
Do you remember that final audition you did and what you read?
Yeah, of course. We did 2 scenes. We did the scene where I helped Steven pick out the ring, that Huck brings the rings. And then we did the bench scene.
Be normal.
Yeah, be normal. Oh my God, I never would have remembered that.
Yeah.
And then the bench scene where I say to the intern, like, get a new car, get a house, like all the things where I read her right before it's handled.
Right.
That scene. Yeah.
Speaking of Steven, I remember he didn't come back for season 2.
Yeah.
Where do you, I know you're not Shonda, you're not in the writer's room, but like in your dream world, like where do you think he would have gone in Scandal World if he had stayed?
Oh, wow. Well, I love where he wound up, to be honest with you.
I mean,
I never expected that.
I forget it every time.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to spoil your
No,
third
I
time
already saw
watching.
it. I'm on season 6.
But when he appeared in that episode and saved Olivia's life, I just thought, well, this is the way that you heal this moment.
It was
and
perfect.
Give him closure, give us closure. Like I loved every moment of that. And it really did allow he and I to reconnect and have some peace about it. It was really, really so special. I love that. I love that the writers did that for the show, for him, for us, for the fans. It was really such a great surprise.
I remember it was that was besides Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
Yeah.
I remember just being like, and that for some reason like really killed me inside because it makes you think. I think it was season 4, and it makes you think like, like, and imagine if he was in that office this whole time.
Yeah, because he's such a great guy and such an extraordinary actor, and it is fun to think. I would love to see some fan fiction on that.
Yes,
I
I'll
have
write
to
it.
say another episode that. Okay, great. Standing by. Yeah. Speaking of departures, another episode that kills me that I can never rewatch is the Harrison funeral.
Oh, I mean that was just and like no one shows up. It's devastating.
It's devastating.
I mean, because that's when OPA just falls.
Ugh.
You go to the Bahamas, Harrison dies, and it's how do we even get back there? And Quinn, God bless her,
God bless her.
gets everyone back, and she was the last person added to OPA.
I know. Who
besides
is Quinn
Marcus.
Perkins? Yes.
Besides
That's right.
Marcus, who's
That's
a
right.
great addition to OPA.
Yeah, we love
Because
Marcus.
he had like the most morals out of anyone.
It's so true. And I love that he comes out of that like activism. That lawn chair episode was so extraordinary also. And you know, it was interesting for me. I always think about that lawn chair episode, and that's where we met Marcus, and I love that he joined our show. That episode was so important because I think for the first few seasons, it was so powerful that there hadn't been a Black woman as the lead of a network drama in almost 40 years. And so in many ways, we stayed away from race. We would sort of dip our toe into talking about race, but we sort of, just the fact that Olivia Pope existed and sort of walked with her Blackness in the worlds that she was in was enough of a statement. But as the show went on, I think the writers felt more and more emboldened and encouraged to explore some of Olivia's position on race and politics and injustice. And so I think The Lawn Chair is also a really, really special episode.
I remember that episode also as like one of the moments where, because up until then, Olivia would kind of do whatever the job required.
That's right.
And I remember in that episode, it switched.
Yeah.
You switched, and
I choose morality
Yes.
over professionalism.
yes.
Just it was a real moment.
Do you remember the reaction to that episode?
I remember people being really moved and shocked and very moved. You know, we were in a moment as a country where those conversations were bubbling, and so I think people were always really delighted whenever we stepped into territory that was in any way taboo. And I do remember those moments. I remember those moments as our gladiators, our audience feeling permission to be more honest, more bold, more able to communicate in truth. You know, it's like I had one of I think the first on-camera abortion on television, on network television.
Wait, that was one of the first?
I think it was the first. I think characters have had abortions, but to actually watch a character in that moment had never happened before. And I remember we had our table read on a Thursday that day, and Shonda had been going back and forth with the powers that be at ABC about whether or not they were going to allow that scene in the episode. And she was like, I'm not going to allow the episode to be aired without that scene. So we were all like, I don't know if Scandal's coming on tonight. Like we were all kind of freaked out. But she was so steadfast about like when she didn't want to shy away from things that were uncomfortable for people or controversial, because she felt like that's who this character is. That's who this woman is.
You guys, tonight's episode of Therapuss is sponsored by the one and only Popsicle. For the past, I want to say maybe year or 2 years, I've been doing popsicle reveals with my best friends, and I infamously only like the cherry flavor, and I oftentimes don't get it. So Popsicle gave me an all cherry Jake Shane popsicle box. It was quite literally one of the greatest things that has ever happened to me. And we did a giveaway where 500 people won the all cherry box. Unfortunately, now the giveaway has closed, but it was so exciting. You guys loved it. I loved it. My friends loved it. Everyone loved it. It was so fun. So I'm so excited that we are partnering with Popsicle for Therapuss, because it is just infiltrating every part of my life as it should. Popsicle Ice Pops are so nostalgic for me. I think that's why I loved doing the popsicle reveal so much, because I was reminded that I had free will as an adult and I could just order popsicles and have them whenever I wanted. You know, I used to have to ask when I was a kid. So we are going to do a fun little game today on Therapuss. We are going to do Smash or Pass Popsicle Edition with some of your favorite nostalgic childhood items. I'm going to hold up an orange if it's a pass, and obviously a cherry if it's a smash, which I will pull with a 100% success rate from my Jake Shane all cherry box. Keep in mind, I'm being dramatic. I don't hate the other flavors, but I obviously just love cherry the best. Okay, you guys, I'm obviously going hands-free for this game because I'm double fisting popsicles. So Louise is gonna read some of the childhood nostalgic items, and I'm gonna smash or pass.
Okay, school field day.
It depends what age. I would say ages under 12, smash. Ages over 12, pass. I don't care. Unless it's overnight. If it's overnight, pass. Or smash.
The used book fair.
The used book fair, smash. That is the first time I ever stole something. I stole an entire thing of books, CDs, and video games for my computer from the Scholastic used book sale.
After school sports.
After school sports, pass. Unless it's volleyball, smash.
Trading cards at recess.
Trading cards at recess, pass. Sorry, I don't care.
Classroom pizza parties.
Classroom pizza parties, pass. I hate pizza.
Glow-in-the-dark stars on your ceiling.
Glow-in-the-dark stars on your ceiling. Smash. I think those are fun. Smash. Because I've been quite negative.
Instant messaging.
Instant messaging, smash. I love AIM and iChat.
Do you want to give a story about it?
No.
Okay. Awesome. Collecting stuffed animals or keychains.
Okay, collecting stuffed animals, I still do that, so smash.
Summer sleepovers.
Summer sleepovers, smash.
Okay, the last one is going to be...
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat and my popsicle.
the last one's going to be first flip phone.
First flip phone, smash, unless everybody else had a touch screen phone. Pass. Okay, I gave you my hot or cold takes. What throwbacks would you add to the list, and is it a cherry or an orange for you? Thank you again, Popsicle, for sponsoring tonight's episode. I can't express what you mean to me. Do you mind if we play a little Scandal game really quickly?
Of course not.
Okay, so I wanted to play Kiss, Marry, Kill with Scandal motifs.
Oh my God.
So
Okay.
there's 3. Kiss, Marry, Kill. Jam in Vermont.
Okay.
Wearing the white hat,
Oh God. Okay.
you can't take command.
Oh. Oh. Kiss, marry, kill. I think the white hat is kiss. The jam is marry. And you can't. You're so cute. And you can't take command would be kill.
God, I mean, Mr.
Right?
Pope.
Mr. Pope. So do you know the story? Okay, so Joe Morton is one of my acting heroes. He did an independent film by John Sayles when I was a kid, really young, called Brother from Another Planet. It was an independent movie. Nobody saw it, but my parents were like art house movie kind of people, and that movie was on in my house. And I loved Joe Morton. And we knew him from other stuff, from theater. So he's literally the first guest star that I called home about. Was like, Mom and Dad, you're never going to believe who's on the show. But I did not know who Joe Morton was playing on the show. I did not know. He knew because he had an offer at the time to also do a play on Broadway. And Shonda was like, I need you to come play this character. And he was like, I don't see who this character is or where they're going. And she said, you're going to be Olivia's dad, but no one can know, not even Kerry. So Joe Morton shows up at our table read. I'm freaking out. I call home. I'm like, you guys, Joe Morton's on the show. This is so cool. And I never get any scenes with him. All his scenes are these cryptic scenes with Cyrus Bean on a bench or Jake on a bench, like having these weird rendezvous conversations. And I'm like, I hope we get a scene together one day. He's like, mm-hmm. So literally, it's not till I read that episode where I get at the table read with my cast, where I get in the car and he's sitting there and I look up and say, Dad, question mark. That was the moment that I found out that Joe Morton was playing my father.
Was everyone like gasping?
Everyone was freaking out.
Oh my God.
And we did a live table read at the Paley Center before the episode aired, or maybe the night that the episode aired, where we read that episode out loud. And I remember because, oh my God, there were so many amazing, amazing people in the audience. But one of them was Debbie Allen, who directed episodes of Scandal, and who actually choreographed the dance sequence in the episode that I directed. But everybody, when we got to that line at the Paley Center, went crazy. Like people were jumping out of their seats, like throwing stuff. And we also didn't know, like, even though at that point I knew he was my dad, we went to Shonda and we were like, well, what's our relationship like? And she was like, we kind of haven't figured it out. So when we shot the end of that episode, I said, Dad, 150 different ways. We have me being like, Dad, 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 like every version of Dad, because we were like, we don't know where it's going. So that was really exciting. And then I was like, oh, I think I'm going to have some scenes with him. And then I got to just spend the next few seasons working opposite one of my acting heroes and learning from him every single day.
What do you remember what you learned from him?
I mean, one of the greatest things I learned from Joe was to not be afraid of your anger. And there's also a real elegance to the way that he works. It taught me a lot about where Olivia Pope comes from, but it really taught me about like just what elegance looks like, what it sounds like, you know? Because no matter what emotion he had, he never left his elegance behind.
Right.
It was so beautiful.
He had some of the greatest monologues in that show's history.
Greatest.
What'd he say? Come hell or high water, and to be clear,
I am the hell and the high water. Well done. Yeah, I mean, he said that thing that black families have been saying to black kids forever of you have to be twice as good to get half as much. And people were freaking out on the internet because that's like something that like only black people said to each other. And he just like put out on blast into the culture, which was so incredible. Yeah, he had so many amazing, he taught her everything about wine. You know, it was really fun to get all that backstory and that relationship. And you know, I wrote in my own memoir, Thicker Than Water, that I've always had a really complicated relationship with my dad. And I think it was really powerful for me. I didn't even know at the time, like I have all these notes in the margins of my scripts being like, boy, what am I working through? Because I really believe characters come into your life to teach you things. Mm-hmm. And so in the scenes with Joe, I was always like, what am I working? Like, what is the dad stuff that I'm working through? I can't really put my finger on it. So it's so interesting to me that after the show ended, the kind of world of me discovering more about my relationship with my dad, not being my biological father and all of that like unfolded after the show ended.
That all unfolded after.
Yeah, right after we wrapped. Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you about
No,
it?
please do. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine? I wrote a whole book about it. I'm like, I'm not taking questions.
No, I mean, you know what? Like sometimes people want to just put stuff out there
That's
and
true.
leave it.
That's true.
And
I
that's for
appreciate you
them.
asking. No, you can. I feel like you could ask me anything.
Well, oh my God, I love you. You found out about that through a show, right?
Yes, another show.
Yes.
I was friends with Skip Gates, who is a professor at Harvard who has this show Finding Your Roots on PBS where they research people's ancestry, and I'd always wanted to be on the show, but I never had time because we were always shooting, we were always filming. And when I wasn't filming Scandal, I was either making a movie or getting married or having a baby. Like that's
Right.
what all my off seasons were. And when Scandal, he read online somewhere that it was going to be Scandal's final season. And he called me and was like, you can finally be on the show. Will you come do it? And I said, absolutely. I was so excited because I just knew that my parents were going to be thrilled to find out more about who they were and who I am. And so I told my parents that I was going to be doing Finding Your Roots. And my mom was like, oh, that's good. And I was like, that didn't sound authentic. And my dad basically started having panic attacks.
Wow.
And I was like, what's happening? And so I was like, you know what, Dad, maybe you should talk to Skip Gates because you guys are kind of a similar generation and, kind of older Black man. Like maybe he can help you navigate whatever fears or concerns you're having. And so my parents actually told Skip before they told me. My mom was like, hey, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that Kerry, we used a sperm donor to have Kerry. Is that something that would show up on the show? And Skip was like, 150%. And you should tell her. And they were like, we can't tell her. But he helped convince them to tell me.
And how did you initially take that news?
I would say I was talking about it with my younger daughter recently. I was telling her, I think I've had all the feelings about it. Like any feeling you could possibly have on a chart of feelings that they have at school. Like I have had those feelings about this. Initially, I think I was shocked. And then really weirdly, I was relieved. Because I always knew that there was something. It's like that the princess and the pea thing, at the danger of referring to myself as a princess. I always knew that there was something off in the relationship in our family, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So to get that news was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Now maybe we can start being real in this family.
And did you notice a change in your relationship with your dad, a lighter weight? Was a weight was lifted off?
I would say with my mom, things changed immediately because my mom and I had always had this secret between us that was really in many ways protecting my dad. And so we immediately fell into a new kind of intimacy and lightness, and it was as if I sort of talk about it in the book as if a veil got lifted between us. For my dad, it was a little more complicated because he really didn't want to talk about it or deal with it. He kind of didn't want it to be true and didn't want to acknowledge it publicly and just wanted to ignore it completely, which I was like, we're not doing that.
Right.
So it had its challenges for sure moving forward.
And what was it like writing the book?
Yeah, writing the book was really helpful because I really feel like I wrote the book for myself to make sense of all this, to kind of go back through my life with this new framework and understand myself and my family more clearly. Somebody gave me a key to unlock my family, and now I wanted to go back in and sort it through. Mm-hmm. So the book was really helpful and really healing. And I mean, in many ways, and so many people have said this to me, my dad is the hero of my book. He is the guy who, despite what biology says, he's my dad. He's always been my dad, and he loves me so hard. He's never wanted to entertain any thought other than that. And I'm so lucky that I had people in my life who loved me so much that they not just prayed and hoped for me, but did something. I mean, when I was born, it wasn't like today. We both have so many friends who use sperm donors.
Right.
Who could go and look through a binder and pick out what color eyes the donor has and where they went to college. And this was the Wild West. This was, my mom doesn't know anything about the donor. She was like, I just want him to be Black and healthy. And really, she says, they wanted him to be black just so that nobody knew that my dad wasn't my biological father. But it was the Wild West. She just like went to an office when they said there was sperm there, and that was it. She didn't know where it came from. She didn't know anything. So it was really great for us as a family, for me to write the book, and then for us as a family to kind of get to live in that truth. And my dad is in such a different place about it now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I feel
Thank
like you've also
you.
helped so many people and so many families.
Oh, thanks.
It's true. Like, sharing your story like that, like, definitely makes it so much less taboo.
But I think it's funny. It's like I had spent so much of my life dedicating myself to being these other characters. And I think one of the reasons why acting was something that I gravitated toward is because I was looking for myself. I was looking for the answers to that question of who am I? And it would be like, am I this person? Am I Chenille from Save the Last Dance? Well, a little bit, but not fully. Am I Olivia Pope? Well, a little bit, but not fully. And it was almost like this character and this show was so groundbreaking and just changed and shifted history and culture so much that it was finally like when this was over, I had the courage to really get the information of who I was.
Right.
It was wild. It was like, okay, you've now like stop looking for yourself in these other people. I think also because I had been her for so long that it was when that show ended, I really was ready to re-examine and ask myself, who am I now? So there was like this space in my life for taking on a new character. And that new character was me. It was like, now I think I'm ready to be number one on the call sheet of my life. Because she had Olivia Pope taught me she taught me that I was capable of being the lead, of having my name on that door, of like, being the center of the story. And so now I was ready to be the center of the story of my real life.
Right. And what was it like saying goodbye to Olivia Pope?
I was ready. I feel like that's often not what people want me to say, but I was really ready. Remember Shonda came to me and she was starting to feel ready. And she was like, I either have like one more longer season or like two more shorter seasons. And we talked about it, and it felt like the two more shorter seasons would be better for fans, better for us, better for everybody to be able to say goodbye. And it felt like it was time. It felt like we had told all the story we could tell with her, and I wanted to go out before other people were done with her. So I was ready, but I definitely missed her, and I felt like I always will feel so grateful to her. Like, she gave me so much. I mean, she gave me my career, she gave me my production company. In my Scandal years is when I learned so much about what it means to be part of a family, and I mean that in both ways. Like, I had never been part of a project that went on for 8 years, right? Like, so to be in a creative family in that way, but also in those years and the stability of that show is when I got married and started having children. And so I just learned so much in that time. I became a producer in that time. I made some of the best friends in my life in that time. I learned how to hire people, how to fire people. I learned how to, there was so much that I learned and that she gave me that I'll just forever be so grateful.
I mean, it is literally my comfort show. Like, I've seen it 3 times. I watched it during COVID. I watched it while it was live on television. And then I was with my friend, and we were going through Netflix the other day, and we were like, oh, and Scandal, obviously. And he was like, oh, I've never seen Scandal. And I was like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, we are doing it. Like,
I get jealous. Sometimes when people haven't seen shows that I love, I get jealous because I'm like, oh my God, like, you get to live through that for the first time. Like, when people tell me they haven't seen Game of Thrones, or even just more recently, like, I love The Penguin. When people tell me they haven't seen Penguin,
I'm like,
oh my God, it's
I know.
so good.
Well, she just won for it,
yes,
right?
and she so deserved, so incredible. So good. Yeah, like I get really like excited for people when they haven't seen shows that I love, because I'm like, oh, you are about to get on a ride.
Right.
Ugh.
What are you watching right now?
What am I watching right now? I was late to the pit, but just finished and am obsessed.
Okay, I got
can't
2
wait.
episodes in, and then I started my Scandal rewatch.
No. There's room for both. Okay. You must come back to the
But I'm
pit.
like an employee right now. Like, I can seriously, like, I'm like,
Do you promise me you'll go back to the pit?
I promise you I
promise
will
me?
go back
Okay.
to it. But like right now, like I am like hourly paid. I'm paid hourly at OPI.
I'm
Like
obsessed.
I am clocked in every single night from 9 to 12. Like I
Oh my
can't.
gosh.
Unfortunately, like I have a job. So like
Okay, well, when
I'll
that's
go back to
done,
it.
when that gig is done,
Yes.
please, it's really like the pit is fantastic. It's so good. Yeah, that's a show I love. I love the studio. I thought that was great.
Still need to
so
see that.
fun, so fun. So I feel bad. I feel like I'm getting you behind on the things that you must watch.
You're getting me like I need to watch this and I need to watch this.
Okay,
and
it's lined up. You'll
Yes,
get to it.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Before we finish
Okay.
our scandal talk, because I feel like I have to ask you about your new projects as well.
Yes, thank you. You're so sweet.
Who do you believe was better to Olivia Pope,
Oh,
Jake or Fitz? Because rewatching this as a 25-year-old.
tell me what you
Rewatching this
think.
as a 25-year-old, obviously when I rewatched it when I was 20, I was like, Fitz, like you know, like literally.
So
sick.
he's magic.
And then I'm like, wait, why are you like actually a horrible gaslighter? Like I'm like, oh, you're horrible. He's literally like horrible. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, you are the biggest gaslighter I've ever seen in my entire life. All Jake wants to do is just be like, I will give up everything right now for you.
So interesting, right? But also Jake has this like violent temper thing that people often call out.
And then also you see the way he treats other people in his life.
Yes.
And it's weird.
It's
like
very, very broken.
When he's married to Vanessa.
Yes.
And he just ruins Vanessa.
Ruins.
So you're like, ooh, okay, if you're going to treat them that way, what stops
Who's
you from
to say that you won't do that to Olivia?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like she just needs a healthier option.
Yeah.
But I also love both those actors, and I thought both of those relationships were so dynamic and interesting and complicated and real. Like, I don't know. I think both men really love her. I just think everybody on Scandal needs a lot of therapy.
A lot. And do you have
Or Therapuss.
well, everyone's welcome. Do you have a favorite needle drop from Scandal? Because I told you before mine was Sam Cooke.
Which I
Nothing Can Change
hadn't
This Love.
remembered that. That's so good. What is the episode? Because you'll know, I think. Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Do you remember that? And there's like it's early, and there's like we're going in and out. We're in the apartment where I feel like I remember liking that one a lot.
Well, you know what else I love? Which is when do they do Everyday People?
That's a great one.
That is like
That's also a great one.
that's season 2.
Okay.
I forget when, but I remember being like, I need to like look at can you look at the Scandal playlist and start reading me off some? There's also like, oh my God, there's this one. It's not the original. It's like a cover of this one song.
Yeah, Shonda was so hands-on with the music. It was so powerful and important to the show. But I think also The Light. I mean, I still get chills when I hear it sometimes.
Done. Like, I'm going to walk down the aisle to The Light.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's seriously like it. When you hear that, you're just like, you melt.
Yeah, because that 1 minute, I mean,
It's the
that was
Olet
that was one of the really incredible things. When it said in the script, they sit there for 1 minute. And then I think in the actual script, it said, not a TV 1 minute, an actual real-time, real-world 1 minute. And I was like, we're never going to do that on television. We're never
Right.
going to actually sit there for 1 minute. And we did. We did. We sat there for 1 minute. It was so special.
Can you imagine telling Olivia Pope in that moment, like, yeah, so this actually isn't going to work out right now? Like,
No, that would have been so bad.
yeah, because like in that moment, you're like, oh, he chose her.
Yeah.
Great.
Oof.
Oof.
But that's the roller coaster we sign up for with these shows.
Can I tell you the most random plot line that
Tell
I was
me.
like, in what world?
Yes, of the many, which one?
I want you to, okay, Tom and Cyrus? Like, what?
That was interesting.
I'm like, wait, and also, Michael, respectfully, why are you mad that Cyrus is cheating on you? This is arranged.
Oh
Like,
my God, I love it.
Do you know what I
It was a
mean?
lot. It was a lot.
Yes.
It just was a lot to track too.
Right.
But that was, I feel like Shonda loved to just challenge us, challenge our notion of what's possible, what's
Right.
not. Yeah. But I even remember, so I had been doing all these scenes with Cyrus Bean, Jeff Perry, so here's the story of how Jeff Perry got on the show. Lynn Linda Lowy, who had been working with Shonda for many years, she cast Grey's Anatomy. She was moving offices. Shonda Lynn was moving offices. And Shonda was in Linda Lowy's office. And Jeff Perry was helping his wife move.
Right.
And Shonda saw him carrying a box and she was like, oh my God, that's so sad. And Linda was like, what's sad? She was like, that actor, he's like a Chicago actor. I love him, but now he's moving people. Like, that's what he's doing for money. Linda was like, no, he's my husband. And Shonda was like, he is? I love him. He's amazing. Put him on the show.
There was no auditions for Cyrus. It was just Jeff Perry.
No, that's it, Jeff Perry.
No one else could have played Cyrus.
No. But then we're shooting, I don't remember what episode number, but I'm shooting a scene with Jeff Perry and they hand out the scripts for maybe the 3rd or 4th episode of the show. And we're shooting one episode, but we get the scripts for the new one. And I start like reading it when I can in between takes. And I get to the line where Cyrus's husband opens the door. And I'm like, you're gay.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting with him doing the scene. At that point, he didn't know he was gay. So we're sitting doing the scene, and I looked at him and I was like, Jeff? And he said, yeah. I was like, I know something about you that you don't know. He was like, what? And I was like, I can't tell you, but you have to read the episode immediately. It was so fun. It was so exciting.
That was one of the most devastating love stories on Scandal.
Truly.
Because Cyrus never chose his morals.
I know.
But did he have them?
Well, there's a good question. But that fight scene between the two of them, the naked fight scene.
Oh, where he's stripping.
Yes,
He's like,
I love that scene.
Because he can't even talk to his
Yes.
husband without being like, are you wearing a wire?
Yes, no trust.
No trust.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Please tell me about the new Knives Out movie and the Prophecy season 2.
You're so sweet. I'm so excited. So on the Simpson Street side, so I started my production company during these Scandal years. I did a film for HBO called Confirmation, and that was our first film. And now we have so much exciting stuff going on. We have Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. We have this amazing audio series called The Prophecy, season 2. It's this very cool, like supernatural thriller where I play a woman. Basically, the idea that was first pitched to me, it was during COVID when we were all feeling like, what is happening in the world? And this brilliant writer, Randy, was like, okay, what if the stuff you read in the Bible isn't actually stories about the past? What if it's prophecy about what's to come or stuff we're living through right now? And so I play this character who cannot get pregnant, but suddenly finds myself pregnant. My name is Virginia, for Virgin Mary, middle name Mary. And there's like this scientist in London who works with lions, who said he's Daniel in the Lion's Den, and like a character named Jonah who gets swallowed whole by a whale, like all these weird happenings. So that was season 1, which you should catch up on because it's David Oyelowo and Daniel Day Kim and Lawrence Fishburne, like incredible cast. Season 2, the adventure continues. I'm now on the run with this baby from this like crazy cult leader type character played by Giancarlo Esposito, and Dule Hill's in it. It's really, really fun. And I love doing audio series because you get to just like close your eyes and drop into a world and you can listen while you're running or doing whatever.
And what's it like creating that audio series as opposed to filming a show? I mean, I know it's visual versus audio.
So great because you don't have to sit through hair and makeup. You can just like show up in your pajamas. And for me, there's something about that actually leads to this very pure performance. Like I feel as though I've done some of my best acting in this series because you're not thinking about where is the camera and how do I look or any of that. You're just like dropped into this alternate reality in a booth in this like cocoon of creativity. So it's very pure, very raw.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Knives Out.
So I've watched the first 2. I love those movies.
Me too.
They're excellent.
I feel so lucky to be in the Knives Out universe. To be in this Wake Up Dead Man movie is so fun. The cast is extraordinary. Andrew Scott and Josh Brolin and Josh O'Connor and Glenn Close and Mila Kunis. I mean, just like Jeremy Renner, his first movie back after his big accident. Like it's just an incredible, and of course Daniel Craig.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like, wait.
There's that. He's amazing. He's our fearless leader. I love the filmmaker Ryan Johnson. I love the cast. This iteration of the film is like a little bit darker. It's a little bit like gothic in a way. It's so cool, so like smart and funny and gripping, and like there's no way in hell you will guess the ending.
You never do.
You never do. which I love.
Where did you guys shoot it?
What's weird is, okay, so the film takes place in upstate New York, but we shot it in London because it's just so much cheaper to shoot overseas right now, which is sad. We have to do something about that in the state of California.
Back production to Los Angeles.
We really do. I just shot 2 projects here, which I'm really proud of. So my company, Simpson Street, we have a new series that we just finished shooting for Apple called Imperfect Women with me and Lizzie Moss.
Wow, congratulations.
And Kate Mara. Very exciting. So that'll be out next year. And then I did a movie with Ben Affleck called Animals. So those 2 things shot in LA, and I'm so grateful, but we just have to bring more work back here.
I feel like especially after the fires as well, there's just like this big push, especially from like the
Crews
acting community and the cast and crews to be like, LA was once such a hub for production. And I feel as though maybe it got lost in like, I've recently learned this, that like every location has an agent. Like you have to go through an agent to get a location. Is that true?
Well, the biggest thing that's sort of forced the shift is finances. It always comes down to money, and there's just so many more incentives in other states and countries to shoot. So we just have to work on getting more of those incentives here in LA so that people can work and be with their families. You know, that's the big thing, is that we have so much talent here in Los Angeles, and a lot of that talent is constantly being flown to other places or just out of work. And so we don't want to sort of squander our creative community here. We want to provide work for people to do what they do well and chase excellence while still being able to be home for dinner.
Right. And also I feel like a lot of people don't know this, and I recently learned it, but a lot of the time when you work on a set, the cast and crew comes from the surrounding area because it's work for that area.
That's right.
So if you're not shooting in LA, a lot of the people that work in costume and cast and crew
are unemployed.
That's
right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited about all the stuff we have going on. I cannot wait for people to see Wake Up Dead Man. It's just like, it's so fun to be part of a movie like that, to be in a thriller, a mystery murder thriller, and to be part of an ensemble. Like, honestly, I've said this in other interviews, it gave me Scandal vibes, you know, to be back, to be back with a set of actors where like, if you show up to do a Knives Out movie, you're not looking to be the star. You're like, I want to be part of a team of badass, talented people who want to create something special together. And that was how we always worked at Scandal. Like we didn't compete for attention. We didn't compete for press. We were so supportive of each other. We used to get together on the weekends to rehearse scenes. We used to get together at each other's houses to watch episodes, because when an episode actually aired, we were just tweeting, not watching it. All we were doing was looking at Twitter and responding to people. So we would try to watch the episodes beforehand so that we knew what we were even tweeting about. We were so close, and it was really fun to be in another ensemble like that again.
Right. Do you ever think down the line you guys would ever do some type of reunion?
It's funny. I've thought about it. I mean, obviously it's up to Shonda. I don't know if we have it in us to do like a series,
of course,
revisit, but I think it could. I feel like there's a universe where maybe there could be a Scandal movie, but I don't know. If it would have to happen, you know, before I'm like, it's handled, right? Like you want to be like sometime in the near future. So I don't know. It's a good question though.
Okay. I want to do the Tell Me What's Wrongs. And so the Tell Me What's Wrongs are the pussies write in and they tell us what's wrong.
Okay.
I'm scared I peaked in my 20s.
Oh, no.
I'm 34 and have a fairly normal but good life. However, I've been feeling very bored these days and everything is very repetitive. My 20s were so much fun, even into postgrad, as I traveled all the time and had no idea what the future held. Is this just a funk, or am I not doing enough to feel fulfilled?
Oh, my goodness. I think you always have room to peak again, but it just might mean shifting your perspective on what you're chasing, right? Like for me, I feel like my priorities have shifted in life. So I don't think I've peaked in my career. I still feel like I have room to grow and magic to create and exciting things to be a part of. But I also see my peak differently now. Like now I'm chasing more than just a cover of a magazine, because I've done a lot of those. And I don't think I was ever chasing that actually per se, but I feel like I'm more ambitious about all of my life. Like it's not just this one thing. Like I want to be as ambitious about my marriage as I am about acting. I'm as ambitious about my kids as I am about social justice. Like I want to be able to be ambitious about all those things. So maybe the peak just looks and feels different at different times in your life. And you can peak in different ways. But it's like you don't want to get caught in that thing that people always talk about Michael Jackson like being so depressed because he could never get back to that initial first feeling of having that huge album, and he was always chasing those numbers. It's like, don't try to repeat what it was in your 20s. Like find a new peak. Find what like the best of you looks like and feels like now.
And I feel like it's hard with social media.
Yeah.
Even like I do it all the time. All I do is compare myself. And it's
First of all, that's insane because you are one of one. So you can't compare yourself with other people because you're the best you there ever is going to be, Jake. And like,
well, thank you.
Right? But I hear you. It's hard.
It's just, I've really, really been trying to get off social media lately, and it's become very, very addicting, especially for my generation. And I assume what this person is going through is like seeing all their friends
Other
probably
people
doing
do.
cooler stuff. I mean, whether that be on LinkedIn, whether that be on TikTok, whether that be on Instagram. And I think there's a certain piece in, obviously, it's not realistic to just shut it off.
Yeah.
But to have moments where you can just like be present, and I know that's rich coming from me because I'm the least present person in America. But I think that is the only way to find a new peak and to find it is to really get off that for a minute.
What do you say to yourself when you find yourself in, I have a girlfriend who calls it compare and despair. Like when you're in compare and despair, what do you do to shift it for yourself?
I really have been struggling with it. I don't have like a way yet. Oftentimes I like to like repress, so I'll put on TV. So I like throw myself into Scandal or whatever
Another
show I'm
world
watching
to distract.
and just live in that world. Or I don't know what I do. What does your girlfriend do?
That's a good question. She is a firm believer in turning off the socials, which you already said. But I think coming back to you, what you said about presence, I think sometimes like connecting with people in real life can be an antidote to the compare and despair that happens online. Because when you get together with this friend who you're watching with, or just people in your life who really know you and love you, like it's important for me to remember that there are people who love me today, that I don't have to be somebody else to earn that love or to earn likes or follows or whatever. Like I have people who are down for me as who I am right now in this moment. No makeup, lashes off, like just who I am, you know?
That's what I try to remind myself as well. And I was thinking about this when I really get in those things, I'm like, I do try to be like, oh my God, okay, if I was who I am comparing myself to be, I wouldn't be anywhere near what I'm doing today.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be here with you.
Your unique experience is yours and yours alone.
I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't be living with my best friends. I wouldn't know her. I wouldn't know him. Like I wouldn't. So in those moments, I'm like, I am only here because of who I am. Like I like
who
really,
you uniquely are.
I wasn't trying to be anyone else.
That's
when
right.
When it happened for me. And so that's actually what I always remind myself. I'm always like, you wouldn't even have these opportunities that you want that you're not getting. Like, let's say I don't get an opportunity and I'm upset about it. I wouldn't even have a chance to get that opportunity had I not been myself up until that very moment.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So that's what I try to remind myself.
Good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Louise.
I feel like that's what Olivia Pope would say.
Yes.
Like, what do you have? What are your gifts? Like, that's what you have to be focused on.
Yeah. That's what I remind myself.
Yeah.
Well, on a less somber note, my roommate spoiled Scandal for me before I started the last season.
Oh no.
Okay.
Rude.
They didn't mean to, but I need to know how to proceed so I don't murder her.
Deep breaths.
I would say that there is so much that happens.
Yeah, there's so much nuance.
Episode.
Yeah.
TGIT was a moment, right? So every Thursday, something crazy happens.
Crazy.
So while something might have been spoiled,
Not everything.
the journey is what's important in Scandal.
Look at you.
I know, like,
Oh
Kerry,
my
you
gosh.
brought it out of me.
I love
Like-
it. I love that.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yes. And also, it's my third time watching Scandal.
And you're still loving it.
And I'm still working at OPA. Like, I'm still here.
I love that so much.
Yes, I'm still here. My friends were so toxic that I had to move colleges. Now I'm a sophomore and have no friends at this new school. My last group of friends were so manipulative and repeatedly would make the guys I liked or dated leave me. Oh my God.
Those are not friends.
Yeah, those were absolutely not friends. I'm a little scared to make new friends. So what's a good start in terms of getting out of that shell?
Oh. Maybe focus on an interest, right? Like I think figure out something that you're passionate about, whether it's like an intramural team or a hobby or a choir or a fitness class, whatever it is, like, but try to lean into your interests. Like where are the places that help bring out the best parts of you, places where you go and you feel good because you feel interested, and that'll make you maybe feel more confident about getting to know the other people who share that common interest.
Mm-hmm. I agree too. I think at that point it's like focus. I remember I met the greatest people in my entire life once I like locked into a career path or something that I was passionate about, and
Because
like
you had something in common and a
Yes.
shared sort of
That's how I met her.
ideology. Oh,
and like that's how I met everyone that I am with every single day, is by like locking into this thing I was really passionate about, which was music. And I like met everybody that is still in my life today, and it's all because like it's like, you know, it's like choosing yourself, like not to sound cheesy,
No, that's
but
right.
like, you know what I mean?
That's right. You start with choosing you and figuring out like what are the things I like about me, who do I want to be, what are the spaces I want to be in, and then you'll find yourself with like-minded people. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. My ex texted me on the death anniversary of my grandfather. We have not spoken in over a year, and he said, "Thinking of you today." You know who that's given? Fitz. How the fuck do I respond to that? The issue is, I've been missing him lately, and you know who that sounds like?
Olivia. I mean, I guess I would ask, why did you break up? Like,
Right, sometimes we don't have context.
right? Because I don't know. Maybe you guys should be giving it another go. I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like it's, you know, you don't want to make blanket statements of like, if you have an ex, they have to stay an ex.
Right.
That may or may not be true.
You know, my favorite scene in Scandal ever. Actually, every time I rewatch it, I have full body chills every time. You are back from Standing in the Sun with Jake.
Yes.
And you are you're handling something. And you are like, you're back as Olivia for the day.
Okay, just for the day.
And you're in a building, and Fitz
remember-
is leaving a room, and you guys make eye contact, and your hands
It's-
pass
yeah.
each other.
It's like in a big rotundo
Yes,
with like marble
yes, and your
floors, right?
pinkies nearly touched, and I just remember I was with my best friend Peyton, and because she. By the way, I would be remiss to not speak about my friends who also are obsessed with this show.
Shout outs to the friends, the
Peyton
gladiators.
Peyton used to wake up every morning before work to watch. Because when Olivia got kidnapped, she couldn't go to bed until Olivia wasn't kidnapped anymore.
Oh my
So she
God.
stayed up until 6 a.m. and then went into work.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I remember that scene. My favorite thing about that scene is the look on my face and on Tony Goldwyn's face after we pass each other. It's like not quite a smile, but a little bit of like a warmth and like a, yeah, and it's what's exciting is not even that the fingers touch, but like the space between the fingers. It's very well shot.
Tangible.
Very well directed.
What is your favorite Olit scene?
I think Vermont is for Lovers is an incredible Olitz episode. That's when he comes to Vermont in the helicopter.
Oh, and Melly's like, Charlotte? Where is my husband?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that is the episode that Ava DuVernay directed.
Wow.
And I remember so she and I, after that, did the commercial for Apple. There was like a huge Apple Music commercial that we did during the Emmys with me and Mary J. Blige and Taraji P. Henson. And when we shot the commercial, Ava was like, now when we worked on Scandal, I remember you had like a side, like you had like a good side and a bad side. And I was like, oh no, girl, like that's not me. And she was like, no, I remember specifically having all these conversations that there was a specific way I had to shoot you. And I was like, Ava, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she came back to me later that night and she was like, oh, I remember what it was. And I was like, what? She was like, you were pregnant and we couldn't show it. So we're like trying to shoot these love scenes of me and Tony Goldwyn making out, but we're shooting them like from here up, like bust up, because we couldn't show my belly. It was insane. But yeah, that was the side we couldn't show, was my belly.
Were people like, what was it like working while pregnant? And in the sense of like everyone was watching and like no one knew you were pregnant.
I mean, you did after a moment, because I was like hiding behind boxes and briefcases and chairs and lamps. It was really wild because I begged Shonda to make Olivia Pope pregnant. I was like, I'm going to be growing wider and wider, and I'm going to be like not doing an Olivia Pope walk strut down the hallway. I'm going to be like waddling down hallways. It's going to be so weird. And she was like, you have to figure it out. Like, Olivia Pope cannot be pregnant. She was like, I love that. Like, she was so supportive of my pregnancy, literally jumped up and down in my trailer when I told her. She was so happy for me, threw me the best baby shower ever. Like, she was just an incredible boss around that issue. But she was like, Olivia Pope can't be pregnant. I'm so sorry, for both my pregnancies. And I didn't really understand it at the time. But when I became a mom, I got it, because Olivia Pope is like a superhero. She's always the most powerful, most confident. Like, despite the rooms where she's occasionally made vulnerable by Fitz, she is a superhero. And there is an inherent vulnerability in becoming a mom, where suddenly your heart is walking outside your body. And especially for being the mother of a Black child, where your heart is outside your body and vulnerable to all these systems that your child is up against. And I got it. I was like, that's why Olivia Pope can't be a mom, because she can't be that vulnerable for anybody in any circumstance other than Fitz.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really an intense realization for me.
And was it ever like hard to do like night shoots while like you were like...
I mean, we often worked 16-hour days at Scandal. I mean, we worked really long days. So we tried to, toward the end of my pregnancies, keep it to like 13-hour days, 12, 13-hour days. But yeah, I worked all the way through, and I refused to be out of my heels. I was like, I can't walk in flats. I'm Olivia Pope.
Olivia Pope.
So I remember my doctor was like, take off the heels. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know who I am?
No, yeah, exactly. It is my name on that door. So I can't. I worked through my pregnancies, and it taught me a lot. It taught me how to take cat naps, like, because you're so tired. And but it was great. It was really, I had a working mom growing up, and I really respect working moms. I respect staying at home moms too. But I think I enjoyed my pregnancies more because I was working and getting to spend my time with the people that I love the most.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to ask you. We both grew up in New York.
Yes.
You grew up, where in the Bronx did you grow up?
So I grew up Central East Bronx, like near Castle Hill, Parkchester, not far from where Jennifer Lopez grew up, actually. We went to the same Boys and Girls Club.
Well, wasn't she a substitute dance teacher for you?
She was.
What was that like?
So we both had this beloved dance teacher named Larry Maldonado that we loved, loved, loved. And Jennifer is just a little bit older than me, so she was in like the big girls group. And when Larry got sick and went to the hospital, she used to teach. So she was like 16, 17, and I was like 9 or 10, and she was teaching these classes. And you would think I was a better dancer since I learned to dance from J-Lo, but she was an incredible teacher.
Wow. And when you were talking about the choreographed dance at Scandal, were you talking about when Olivia gets kidnapped, when you're looking at Jake and you're like, dance with me?
No, that one we just freestyled. But the episode that I directed was Quinn had just had the baby, and there's a scene where she and Papa Pope, I think, are like dancing in a living room.
I vaguely remember this.
Yeah.
I don't remember season 7, but I know that's season 7.
Yeah. So there's like a dance in a living room.
Right.
It's like an electric slide vibe.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember
so
that.
that was Debbie Allen.
And you went to Spence.
I did.
Wow. And so what train did you take to school?
I took the number 6.
Okay.
On the 6, like Jennifer Lopez, all the way to Gwyneth Paltrow world at Spence.
And do you keep in touch with anyone?
I do. I mean, I have to say both of those women, because I knew them obviously in very different contexts, but both Gwyneth Paltrow and Jennifer Lopez have been extraordinarily supportive throughout my career, and just like real guides and just like friendly and kind. I mean, just recently, because Gwyneth is like the queen of wellness and all the things, and I was like, you need to introduce me to this doctor. This was like 2 weeks ago. So she put me on a text thread with this doctor and was literally like, this is my friend Kerry. I've known her since she was in the 7th grade. When she was a senior in high school, I was in the middle school. I was in the 7th grade. And so we did one play together because the year that she was a senior, she played Queen Titania in Midsummer Night's Dream, and the middle schoolers were allowed to audition to be the fairies in Midsummer. So I was a fairy the year that she was doing in senior. And so, and also we had an a cappella group. I think that we still have an a cappella group at Spence called Triple Trio. And so I was going into high school, to audition for Triple Trio. The exiting seniors were at the audition. So I auditioned for her to get into Triple Trio. We never sang together on Triple Trio, but I had to audition for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like, do you remember like any of the spots around Spence that you would go to that are still there?
I don't know how many of them are still there. I feel like Jackson Hole closed. That I'm not sure. Is Jackson Hole still there on 91st? There's a few locations, but I don't know if that one is still there. But Jackson Hole was our main hangout. And then, I mean, we used to walk around. I used to go to the Met all the time when I was really depressed because I love museums. But also we just like used to walk around the corner to Nightingale if we were smoking, because we wanted, if we were smoking, we wanted people to think we were Nightingale girls, not Spence girls, so we wouldn't get in trouble.
Weed, both?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so I was in high school during like the vaping era.
Oh,
And
wow.
So no one knew so we could do it in school. And I would go to the bottom floor. And
At Calhoun. The big TV school.
Yes. No walls. We had no walls.
So I did a summer study course at Calhoun, and it was like Columbia University had a summer studies program in American Studies, but we did it at Calhoun, and I was like, this is such an interesting place.
And so were you like,
it's such a good school.
It's great, but were you like, how?
How do you focus?
Yes.
How
So
did you
don't.
focus?
So you actually don't. I remember they were like, this is going to teach you how to drown out white noise.
Oh.
Obviously it didn't. But like, I have I actually recently just went to my high school advisory reunion last week.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yes.
so sweet.
With my English teacher was my advisor.
I pray that my kids have the kind of like warm feelings about the places that they go to school that I have about Spence.
I just remember there was something about kind of growing up in I don't know if it was to New York, but there was almost like this respect thing with teachers and students that was like, I'm going to see you as like capable of making adult, mature decisions.
Yes.
And like, I'm going to respect you based on that.
Yes, an inherent respect. Like we weren't treated like infants. We were treated like young people, but people, people who were learning. And I feel like the kinds of educations that we got are so special because I wasn't just taught facts. Like we were taught how to learn. Mm-hmm. We were taught how to be curious, how to be inquisitive, how to absorb information and process it. So there's just a different way of engaging, even with something like Scandal. Like I hear the way you talk about it, the way you see it, the way you take in the big picture. I love your mind.
I love your mind. Well, Kerry, what did we learn today?
We learned that I am obsessed with you and adore you. And I'm very grateful for you and how much you love our show.
And I just love everything you do. I just think you are incredible.
Thank you. And we learned that Dubélé is real.
Dubélé is real. I'm Googling like 94 Dubélé. They're like, so actually Shonda Rhimes made that up.
Obsessed.
But Dubélé, the actual wine, is real.
That's so cool.
Okay. You can say no.
Okay, thanks.
Would you?
Because you're making me nervous.
Read something as Olivia Pope.
I can try.
You don't have to.
It's been a while, but I can try.
Okay, cool.
I would say no to most people, but for you, I feel like I have to. Is it from the script?
No, it is the lyrics to Man
better.
Child by Sabrina Carpenter.
Well, that's better. I love Sabrina Carpenter.
Just, Maybe like verse 1
This
into
is
the
so weird
end of the
because
chorus.
literally in the car this morning, there was another artist on the radio, and I was like, "Oh, she has Sabrina Carpenter vibes." And my daughter was like, "Oh, I hear that." And my son was like, "No way." And we had this whole argument about who knows Sabrina Carpenter more. And I was like, "I saw her live, babe." And my son was like, "Yeah, but you only went because Gracie wanted to go." And I was like, "No, I wanted to go first." And then anyway, so we had a whole Sabrina Carpenter morning. So this is perfect.
Into right there. If you, yeah, no, like if no, I forgot you have to read it. Okay, go.
Give me some context. So,
I would say you are talking to Fitz,
okay, I'm talking to Fitz. That's helpful.
and he has fucked up,
Okay.
and we're done.
Okay.
And he's fucked up in a sense that it hasn't hurt you,
Okay.
in like directly,
Okay.
but you're like, this is not the person I fell in love with.
Okay, good. If we do a Scandal movie, can I submit you to direct? Because that was fierce.
Direct, acting, like
Score.
I would
make the
love to be an
score.
OPA intern. Like,
Amazing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try.
okay.
You said your phone was broken. Just forgot to charge it. Whole outfit you're wearing. God, I hope it's ironic. Did you say you're finished? Didn't know we started? It's all just so familiar. Baby, what do you call it? I wish I had a hat, a white hat to wear.
I
but-
almost got one, and then I forgot. I was just too excited.
But also, it
and-
wouldn't fit over the pony, so it's okay.
And I would just like to say,
Yes.
this might go down as my all-time favorite Therapuss episode, the 100th episode, living legend, Kerry Washington.
You're so sweet. Can I, before you close, will you read the second verse as Olivia?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because I feel like you're so much closer to her right now. It'll help
hold
me.
on.
Yeah, you're Fitz
hold-
responding.
I'm fit.
Yeah, you're responding now.
Why so sexy? Wait, hold on.
Take a moment. Take your time. Take your time. It's not easy.
Why so sexy, if so dumb? And how survive the earth so long?
Yeah.
If I'm not there, it won't get done.
Uh-huh.
I choose to blame your mom, Maya Pope. Man-child.
Man,
Why are you always coming running to me?
yes.
Fuck my life. Won't you let an innocent woman be, or in this case, president? Never heard of self-care. Half your brain just isn't there. He would never say that to Olivia.
Yeah.
Man-child. Why are you always come a-running, taking all my loving from me?
Good.
Thank you.
Woo! Woo!
And
So
ladies
good.
and gentlemen, Kerry Washington.
Thank you so much.
So just give a bye, pussies.
Bye, pussies. It's handled.